Roll call. Mayor Juarez.
Here.
President McCarthy.
Here.
Council Butcher.
Here.
Council Newmiller.
Here.
Council Sutherland.
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a clarification, do we have awards and recognitions that we need to discuss?
I believe that they have a resolution.
Okay, so we'll just read it at that time then? Okay. So at this point in time, I'm gonna close the regular council meeting and open it here. Let me make sure I'm in order. This one. I now declare the public hearing open for the consideration of a special review application to establish a motor vehicle sales use located on a portion of the southwest quarter, northeast quarter, Section 7 Township 33 North, Range 79 West, also known as 302 Van Horn Avenue. This hearing will be conducted in accordance with state statutes, Mills Council procedures, and other applicable laws. The hearing has been set and advertised in accordance with the statutes. I would ask those individuals who wish to address the council on this issue to approach the lectern and state your name for the record. Do we have a report from staff on this item?
Yes, Madam Mayor and Council. This is case number 24.03, the special review permit for the Highland Auto Dealership. As you stated, they're located at 302 Van Horn Avenue, and they're currently zoned EB Established Business. Section 17.16.010 sets out the standards for a special review permit. There are 7 standards that should be considered for a special use, and I'll just briefly go over those. The first one is the site large enough to accommodate the proposed use and meet all dimensional standards and development regulations of the zoning district. Upon review is submitted, the site plan does not provide adequate space for all proposed for sale vehicles on the site. The wheel stops shown on the site plan were existing on the property from a previous approved use. Historical aerial photos show vehicles parked hanging over the property line into right-of-way, rendering them existing non-conforming off-street parking spaces. The applicant and council should consider an alternative site design for the parking of for sale vehicles.
Megan, can you turn your mic on?
Sure.
Sorry.
There we go. Sorry. Sorry about that. Second is the use at a scale or density as proposed compatible with other uses. Yes, the dealership is an appropriate use for the area. 3, does the proposed use involve activities, processes, materials, equipment, or other operational characteristics that would be detrimental to the general welfare? No. 4, the proposal has availability and connection to public utilities and infrastructure. 5, there should be no additional costs on public facilities due to the proposed use. The proposed use will not result in destruction, loss, or damage of natural, scenic, or historic features, and the use is consistent with applicable provisions of the Mills Comprehensive Plan. So as proposed, it does not appear to meet special review criteria number 1 regarding adequate space and development standards. Council should review the proposed site plan and possibly consider requiring an alternative site design, or if approved is submitted. Staff recommends the following considerations be placed on the permit. That it be strictly for automobile sales. They need to obtain their business license from the City of Mills clerk, obtain their vehicle dealer's license from YDOT. There would only be up to 10 vehicles parked for sale on the site at any time, and the special review permit would terminate upon transfer of the property or cessation of the use. And with that, staff recommends approval of the special use permit upon a revision of the proposed site plan. And I can answer questions, and I believe the applicant is in the audience.
Thank you. At this time, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of this item? If so, we would ask that you approach the lectern here and state your name for the record. And if the applicant is here, we would love to speak with them.
Hi.
Hi.
So it is actually Juan who's applying for it, and I'm the secretary.
Okay, perfect. So what Ms. Nelms here is explaining is that the way that this works for our city is there has to be a special review process for any dealerships. So right now, we have two options for you. The site plan that you provided, the parking spaces for the vehicles that are for sale doesn't match the site plan itself. And so we would probably propose, and I think Ms. Nelms printed out, and I forgot to grab it, a change in how you guys plan on staging those cars. Or the other option being pay for an official survey to map out your boundary lines, your property lines. Because what's happening is like your property lines are cutting into where we would hope that your cars can be. And so unless we get an official survey of that property line, we can't say for sure what you can and can't park further along the building there. And I left my printout that you would in the, oh, thank you. Sarah, can we give this to them, please? So this was provided by Ms. Nelms. This is her suggestion, and we like it as well. The lines there would determine the front of the building where we would suggest, that I guess it'd be up to you, or the other side where you put car sales, and then the employees, wherever. That would be one of the options, is to do that within the existing, what we think are the boundary lines, or pay for a survey to go and mark your boundary lines, and then we can try to redraw it.
No, this could work out fine, yeah, because we have more than plenty enough space right here on the side of the building, and then in the front as well, and that way it won't be interrupting that right away.
And I think there is, so the way that she has it is there's only 3 stalls at the front of the building that allow for sales of vehicles. The suggestion would be, though, if you wanted to turn them horizontal, you could do that to stay within what we think is the boundary line, but we know it's not a correct line.
Yeah, we can do that, definitely.
And the reason, I'm sure you guys are familiar with this, the reason why the right-of-way needs to stay clear is because your neighbors, it looks like you're sharing an access road. And so if we put cars too far out, you'll block the line of sight to get on the road. So I think, did I talk about everything that we?
I think so. And I emailed this to you guys yesterday.
Yeah, and we
Oh,
looked it over and
perfect.
it would work. Carbon horizontal.
Is there anything the council wants to address?
They're good with this. I think that covers it.
Yeah. Do you have any questions for us?
He's wondering if they're gonna approve it today.
I mean,
If you like that map, we like that map.
Yeah, just parking on
Yeah.
horizontal.
Yeah.
That works.
yeah.
Okay. So, just to clarify, what we're doing right now is just a public hearing. So we'll close it, and then you'll see later in the agenda that we'll actually take the vote for what we're agreeing upon here.
Okay.
That works.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I will ask additionally if there's anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of this item.
I'm Jonathan Osborne. I own the wagon mill right across the street.
Oh, hi.
Hi. I have no problems with them opening the car lot across the street as long as customers aren't blocking the way to my building.
Yeah.
That's my biggest concern.
Yeah, I think they were previously on a lot that was a little bit too small, which I'm glad to hear that business is booming, but.
Yeah, they're doing great. They're doing great things.
Yeah, oh, good to hear. I
Yeah.
appreciate that support.
But, yeah, that's my only concern.
Thank you, and nice to meet you
Nice
as
to
well.
meet
Yeah, thank you. And for a third time, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of this item? audience who wishes to speak in opposition of this item? Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in opposition of this item? And for a third time, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in opposition of this item? There being no others to speak for or against the item, I'm going to declare the public hearing for this closed. And I believe we're moving on to good measure. We're gonna have a long meeting tonight, folks. Riveting. So we're gonna move on to the next public hearing here, I believe, yep, that's it. I now declare the public hearing open for the consideration for a special review temporary use permit application to establish a temporary farm stand market sales use located on a portion of lots 5 and 6, block 45, Mountain View suburb, also known as the Mountain View Plaza in the 4700 block of West Yellowstone Highway. The hearing will be conducted in accordance with state statutes, Mills Council procedures, and other applicable laws. The hearing has been set and advertised in accordance with the statutes. I would ask those individuals who wish to address the council on the issue to approach the lectern and state your name for the record. Do we have a report from staff on this item?
Yes, Madam Mayor and Council. This is case number 24.04 SPC, a temporary use permit application from Christina Neufeld and Lara Taylor for a temporary produce stand in the approximately 5,000 square foot grassy area in front of Mountain View Plaza, between the parking lot and West Yellowstone Highway. And they are proposing to set a 12 by 24 enclosed structure on the grassy area from which to operate from. And customers would be parking in the Mountain View Plaza parking lot. The issuance of a special review permit is required since a temporary produce stand is not a land use specifically allowed under Title 17. And with that, staff recommends the following considerations be placed on the permit. The permit's granted strictly for the temporary produce stand. They did provide a letter from the property owner stating they have permission to set up there. The temporary use permit is approved to begin immediately through October 31st, 2024. The stand is approved to be open each day of the week between 10 a.m. and 6 p.m. The applicant will be the sole vendor at the location. Any tables or awnings shall be taken down at the end of each day and the site cleaned of debris. The enclosed structure and all aspects of the stand shall remain within the grassy area and completely out of YDOT right-of-way. Parking in the Mountain View Plaza parking lot only. Obtain a business license from the city clerk. Obtain all required building permits from the building official. And the permit is subject to review and possible revocation for non-compliance with conditions of the permit. And staff recommends approval. And the applicants are here in the audience.
At this time, would ask those individuals who wish to address the council, I'm going to repeat this, to approach the lectern and state your name for the record. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of this item?
Sure. I got up really early on that. I'm pretty excited. So, my name's Garrett Neufeld, and this is my wife, Christina Neufeld.
Hi, thank you so much for coming to speak in favor of this. We're excited for this. Can you tell us a little bit about why you chose Mills and the location and all that?
Absolutely. I grew up here in Mills, so that was a big thing. We have businesses here too. So my mother has Daylight Donuts and a couple other things too. She's got a great relationship with the building owners. We also live just outside the county line there. Basically, we farm, and we want to be able to. Our big goal is people are getting ripped off at the grocery stores, so if we can. That's just really what it comes down to. A head of lettuce shouldn't cost $14. It doesn't need to, and we can grow it. We have a hydroponic farm out in the country. We can grow it year round. We just want a temporary use permit to sell local produce to local folks. What a great spot to put it in Mills.
Yeah, we love that. And then we had just identified a couple of things on that. Do you guys have any questions about those restrictions as far as making sure you don't block the line of sight and a couple of things I missed out on permits. Permits, business license, all that fun stuff.
Absolutely, we have everything lined out to go. We've already secured insurance, everything's good. We just had to have this process before we can apply for a license. So, everything's fine. Parking's gonna be great. But it's just a phenomenal spot.
Yeah.
It really is. We really made sure we double and triple checked. We had another gentleman at the city come out there with us while we measured to make sure we're not in the right of way of the highway.
Yeah.
That was an important part. We actually shifted the building. We set flags up, but the building's not there yet. But we moved things around to make sure there's even more clearance to the road.
Oh, thank you.
I read that it had to be 15 feet. We're at 25 feet. So I think we're way over and above the clearance from the highway
Oh.
for visual. I think we're way beyond what the ordinance said it had to be.
Did you get with Kevin yet and do building permits?
Yeah, we had to do this first.
You did have to do this.
This was what Kevin requested. We did this first, and then, and he was like, from there, the process will roll quickly.
Okay.
So, yeah, this was our next step, but we've secured insurance, this was it.
Well, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Looking forward to it. For a second time, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of this item? And for a third time, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of this item? Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in opposition of this item?
Yes, I do.
Please state your name for the record, please.
My name is Cheryl Parlett. I'm the owner of Cherry's Lingerie. I am in that I'm in that shopping center. I have several issues. First of all, the traffic that turns in there a lot of times are big semis. They don't make that turn into Maverick. They end up in our parking lot. We have a lot of, just like with the rodeo going on, we had a lot of cars and pickups with trailers pulling in and out of there. So it's very common for more people to pull in and out of there. It's very close to Highway 2022, which I understand he's trying very hard to stay away from. But every day, multiple times a day, as you all know, the fire department is directly across the street. We have fire department trucks come out. We have ambulances come out 3, 4, 5 times a day. At that time, everything on the street's got to move. And for him to be there will be just another distraction from the fire department and the trucks coming, the ambulances, all of that. It's another distraction. Everyone out there is allowed a certain amount of signage. These signs are to be above your shop and on the billboard. That's all, according to the lease. Now, I understand that he has a much bigger blueprint out there than I was told by Sixfold. I was told by Sixfold it's going to be very small, like 10 foot long. This is a lot bigger. He is going to block off everybody that's in the mall. Any traffic coming and going will not be able to see my shop from there, or the shop next to me, which is a dance studio, or the adult daycare center, which is right next to them. Then we have the bath place right next to them. All these people take up parking space too. He's not on the lot, but he is using the lot. He has a building rented. He should use his produce there. If he doesn't like to do that, there is the farmer's market, which is less than a mile away, and they have all kinds of vendors there. Produce, meats, breads, plants, and he'll fit right into that area. Now, there are other hydroponic businesses in town, one of which is called Sunlight Gardens. They produce year-round. They also deliver. They do not try to move into someone else's place. They're already there. He already sounds like he's already there. He should go to the fairgrounds. I just do not like the fact he's going to put up some great big wooden thing with signs for 3 months out of the year. It's not fair to everybody else. Nobody else out there gets to do that. Sixfold assured me this would be small, 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 very small footprint. You'll be able to see around him at any point in time. But from what he said, I don't think that's gonna be right. And I am concerned about it. And I really do hope that, I know you guys all sound like you've already approved it, which I don't think is fair to me, because I do have a right to voice my opinion, which I feel that you should take into consideration, because he's taken over a lot of space that he shouldn't be taking. He's interfering with the sight of my shop. He is too close out there on the road, and I've walked out there and looked. And when you pull up, you're gonna have a hard time seeing to pull out onto the highway. This is not good. We already have enough issues out there without that. I want to thank you all. If you have any questions for me, please ask.
Thank you, appreciate your comments.
I just really hope that you will take these into consideration, because to me, it's going to lose business because of him. And that's not fair. I've been in business 3 years. Thank you very much for your time and listening to me. Have a nice evening.
Appreciate it. Ms. Jones, we have a question. Councilwoman.
Oh, I just have a question, I guess signage. What is your signage plan?
Should I come back up here?
Sure.
Yeah.
So as stated in the lease agreement, and actually I can pull it up if you need, I brought my lease with me. I do rent a building in that facility too. I didn't get the spot for free, so it was just part of our deal. And we're not the only one that has signs out there. Family Dollar has a sign. The whole parking lot has a sign for everybody in the building. The church puts out signs. I have to follow the same rules. All signage must be approved by you guys. It has to. I can't put anything other than a banner up. I cannot put signs in the grass. That's already been made clear. All I can put is flags, and they must be taken down every day. But all signage has to be approved by the city. So the only signs I would have is on the side of our building that's facing the road. But that's not above the building, it's on the building. So.
For a second time, is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak in opposition of this item? And for a third time, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in opposition of this item? There being no others to speak for or against this item, I now declare this public hearing closed. Now declare the public hearing open for the consideration for the fiscal year budget 2025. The hearing will be conducted in accordance with state statutes, Mills Council procedures, and other applicable laws. The hearing has been set and advertised in accordance with the statutes. I would ask any individuals who wish to address the council on the issue to approach the lectern and state your name for the record. I don't believe we have a report from the staff, do we?
No, that this has been subject to several prior hearings and the third reading scheduled tonight, as well as some work sessions. So we believe that it has been thoroughly worked out at this point in time.
Thank you. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of this item? Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of the item? And for a third time, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of this item? Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in opposition of this item? Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in opposition of the item? And for a third time, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in opposition of this item? There being no others and no one to speak for or against this item, I now declare this public hearing closed. This time I will reopen the regular council meeting. And we move to the first item being the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I make the motion that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Is there any discussion? How does council vote? Aye.
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 Motion passes. Resolution, oh, my apologies, stepping ahead here. We're gonna move to open discussion. At this time, we're gonna allow anyone in the gallery to speak if they have any items they want to discuss. Please keep in mind that you do have a 5-minute timer there. If you choose to speak to us, please approach the lectern, state your name for the record, and please address all concerns to the council.
Hi, Scott.
I'm Scott Clamp, 720 Wasatch. So, I understand there's going to be a 6-cent brought to the ballot in Casper. Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
So, I'm to understand, I think from the person I know down at the treasurer, that the people in Mills will not get to vote on this. Is that correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Will we pay 6 cents in Mills?
Depends on how you look at it.
Well, the way I look at it, and you should look at it this way, and there's probably not too many people in Mills, that 90 to 95% of your money that you spend does not get spent in Mills. So why would we allow Casper to put this on the ballot and then us not get no reward for it, when I imagine the gas company's going to raise me up and not the water, because that's you guys, that'll eventually come, but the gas company's going to get me, and the power company's going to get me, and Walmart gets me, and the only people that benefit around here, we'd all love to just shop strictly at Mills, but we don't have retail to take care of us. The bonus of Family Dollar and Maverick and all that is we do get to spend a little more money in Mills, but we're not all going out to Caterpillar and buying cats and stuff like that to where we can. So I think it's unfair for, years ago the city of Casper tried this with a regional water deal and we stopped them. I think this needs stopped. If they're gonna vote on this 6 cents, all of us in Mills that spend money across the river should get a little bit of reward for our town that we love. This is wrong. This is wrong.
I agree, and there's a whole can of worms here that come up with this whole topic. First being that this is the first that Casper or anybody, I believe, has attempted this.
Yeah.
They are technically all Casper items, and only Casper's approached the commission, or the county commissioners to put it on the ballot. And then your question about will we pay the taxes, well, the question, and it hasn't been clarified by the state yet, or I should say it needs to be, if you shop online and your zip code is 82604, I would probably guarantee you that Amazon feels that you're a Casper resident.
Yeah.
And so we don't have a way to control that much. We are trying to separately create our own zip code for Mills to help distinguish that, but that's not going to be before anybody in Casper gets the vote on this.
Well,
I will let our attorney, because he actually took a deep dive into this, because we had some questions that matched what you were addressing today.
So what occurred is the legislature has amended the statutes on sales taxes, which is 3915-102A Romanet 7, and it now allows a municipality to individually seek to have a sales tax, an extra penny, which was not the case before. So the process is the municipality has to run it through their city council and then approach the county commission to have it added to the ballot. But the statute doesn't provide that other municipalities or unincorporated areas out in the county have a say in that. The residents would, to the extent they would go to a county commissioners meeting, but Mills doesn't have a say on whether Casper wants to add a 6 cent within the boundaries of Casper.
so Mills won't benefit from this, even though we spend money there, bar none, in Evansville. All of us, we're just sort of.
Depends on what lens you look at it through. So we do utilize Metro Animal, the facility, which needs a desperate overhaul, and so technically we would benefit if that gets
Yeah, but
approved.
I-
We don't have to help fund it.
I've watched Casper stick it to us my whole life.
Yeah,
I mean, you guys have took our dump permit to where we can come down and get them, and I understand that that was because Casper was charging us. But if you look clear back in the books somewhere, Mills had a landfill It was out there by the airport. Part of the deal when Casper started their landfill and changing and got us to fold up our landfill and Evansville to fold up theirs, they got the grants. They didn't qualify for the grants when we all had our own landfills. So the agreement was, well, if you do this and go with us, we're going to give you dump passes. They found a way to stick us on the dump passes, and you guys were smart enough to say, well, we're not going to pay you all this, we'll just hand out our stuff. But careful what they do across the river to us, because they've been doing it for years. Thank you.
We'll discuss it, yeah. We'll discuss it after about the gallery to approach.
Is there anybody else that wants to come up for discussion?
Are we on open discussion, or are we on the hearing on the budget?
We're on open discussion.
Yeah, the open public hearing was closed.
Hello,
Hi.
John Bryson, 440 Crescent. Wanted to talk about the Big D site, in particular the landscaping waiver that was approved by planning and zoning and passed on to you all. I guess a couple things to think about here. First of all, if they need a waiver from council, that waiver should probably not only include waiving the organic requirement, the percentage that is required, but also there are provisions for parking lot screening and islands, which in this case don't always make sense. But I guess my biggest point that I wanted to make tonight is that this site is at the entry, western entry to Mills. Okay, there's where the bypass comes in there. There's a monument sign there for the city mills as well as city mills. And what I'm seeing on this site plan is a big expanse of blacktop or concrete and rock with no plants at all. And the argument was made that the plantings were in conflict with the utilities in the corridor along right away. Okay, I can understand that. I do site design for a living. Okay, but there are areas inside that site with rock proposed that also don't have landscaping, organic landscaping. So the argument that, you know, they can't provide any organic plantings, which are important for beautification and health and a lot of other reasons, is all dependent upon the utilities in that corridor. It just doesn't make sense. And I don't think it should be approved that way. It's kind of an important area right there coming in, especially the fact that we spent the money for a monument sign to say, hey, welcome to City Mills. And now we're gonna have this just expansive gray and black. So I really would like you all to consider that.
We appreciate your comments. It sounds like
Thank you.
We have a similar sentiment.
Yeah, we actually just talked about that.
Great.
To a point.
Yeah, I can see some of the argument being, you know, that if we're gonna plant large trees, which I would question anyways, just line of sight, but it would, you know, I don't want to encourage that corner, which is a major corner into our city, to be any less attractive than it needs to be. And so we'll probably discuss that when we go to that resolution number, to make sure that they have some organic material there.
Is there anybody else for open discussion? Okay, well, I've got something.
Can I talk about the 6 cent thing once real quick? Well, real quick.
Sure. You go for it.
So, with the comment that Mr. Flynn had made earlier, this is kind of a relatively new path. There is, when we try to start these processes, it really raises a lot of issues, and I do think that the state's probably gonna have to take a second look at this and clean it up a lot. It raised a lot of questions for the municipalities that lie so close to it and don't have use of, a lot of the things that we're being taxed on. We have no choice but to go into Casper. It's just a really great area, but with that being said, we end up in this open discussion, I would like to discuss the potential for us to add to our ballot a resolution to add the Metro 6-cent tax to our ballot, and only that project, as that would be the only project that aligns with a specific project Casper has identified that we utilize. But I would like it to be made that if we don't find a funding source for this in some fashion, this burden to build a new building will also fall on Mills and Mills' residents at a much higher price tag. So, does council want to talk about the Metro 6-cent on our ballot, or would you like to comment on that before we discuss it?
Just that with, the way that those specific sales taxes under the new statute work is you set a dollar amount to be reached or a time period, and then once that is reached, those amounts are supposed to go away, the tax goes away, and the money must be applied to the project which is designated. It can't be used for other things. I think over the years, the 5-cent tax has been very broadly used. The 6-cent cannot be statutorily.
And I would like to add additional comments that because the move to quit putting down animals at the rate that they used to, according to council, when Gamroth was some 700 animals a year when they were doing that process, we now have a facility that is completely exploding at the seams with dogs and cats. A community that's not doing responsible breeding, and hoarding cases that we have nowhere to put hoarding animals. Casper recently had, I think it was some 20 animals that they had to hoard in place, as it was called, leave the animals at the home, and the homeowner was required to do something with them to abate the problem. What that was, we don't know, because they did not go to Metro. So, you know, we have a facility that is deteriorating. It is costing Casper several $100,000 every year to put what I call Band-Aids on. And it is a facility that we participate in. Our residents utilize Metro for animal housing, dogs specifically.
The only other thing, I guess, would be that's on their ballot that we pay into is the 911 dispatch center. I don't know. They're wanting to relocate it to the new police headquarters. So I don't know if that's something that we would have anything to do with. But that's the only other thing on their ballot that we pay into.
That's a good question.
So the dispatch center is maintained through a joint use agreement, or at least it's supposed to be. The municipalities, all the municipalities that participate in that are assessed fees on some sort of scheduled basis. The city of Casper has recently relocated most of its infrastructure from downtown to the American Bank building, which has necessitated some of this. I don't know that the city of Mills has really had an opportunity to look at the infrastructure cost on something like that, so it might be we might want to wait until we understood what really is entailed in something like that. We have a better grasp on Metro due to our long participation.
I do know that the relocation also includes updating equipment that's really out of date, as well as obviously running all those lines to the equipment. We're currently charged a per vehicle rate, so no matter how many vehicles show up, each vehicle is charged by 911 dispatch.
I think it's a good idea that we put Metro on our ballot and let our residents vote on that. Because no matter what, we're paying into Metro. And so, it's being a part of their Joint Powers Board, if we ever see that agreement, we're gonna be paying regardless. And so, we might have to be paying more if we don't, agree to it.
Yeah, I think this is a way to give the voters at least a voice on one of the things that is happening in Casper.
What would be the cost that you're looking at trying to raise in the 1-cent sales tax for this thing? As Pat said, once you reach it, it goes away, so
What's that number?
I think we proposed 1.25 million or 2 years, whichever comes first. Which, from Casper, what I was informed is that our contribution would be at least 2 million for a new facility, in order to help fund that if we don't attempt to do it this way.
Could you just hold on to, what if it doesn't pass in Casper? Could you just hold on to the money until they build a new facility?
So if it does not pass in Casper, it seems Casper's building a new facility is basically almost assured. They would have to fund it in some other fashion, but if it did not pass in Casper and did pass in Mills, because of the way that it worked, the money would still be basically earmarked towards that, and so it would have to go towards construction of a new animal control or animal facility.
I know they just spent 200,000 on the 2 additional outhouse type buildings to house additional animals, because their facility, they didn't have nowhere space.
They're really nice though, and everything on that to do, so they'll last a really long time.
And I think the proposal too is to keep the existing building, even though it's not great, but keep it for hoarding cases for quarantine basis.
So if this passed and it didn't pass in Casper, could this money be earmarked actually to build a facility here in Mills?
Well,
Keep everything here?
It says it's for building a new, it would be for a new metro facility. It's not earmarked towards an animal control facility within the city of Mills. It could always be amended. I mean, a resolution can always be amended to read any way that the council might wish for it to.
Yeah, just hate to see us raise this and then we have it, Casper don't, it goes a while and we could build our own and not have to be paying that at that point, so. That would be an option I would like to keep open if we do that.
Am I allowed to ask another question?
You can approach.
You don't know unless you ask.
Start the timer.
I'm gonna stand here and not say nothing for 5 minutes. No, so, way I understood is that the 6 cents gets on there and once they've met their goal, it comes off.
That's correct.
We were all told that about the 5th cent.
The 5th cent's under a different statute.
Okay, but, you know.
So by law, the 6 cent, once you reach that amount on that project, it must go. So the other difference is that with the 6 cents, you actually vote on the project itself, whereas with the 5th cent, you're voting on the tax.
Okay. So when you said it would, the money would be earmarked if we raised it, if it passed here and it didn't pass there. But we can't, you said we could put an amendment to it to where it could be for our own facility?
Well, what I meant by that is I know what we could do when a resolution is read. The council can always modify any resolution that appears to read the way they want it to read when it's passed. So they're a work in progress, so any resolution that the council reads, they can amend to read the way that they want it to.
And I know that government just hates it when you use buildings you already have, or had, or whatever. But what's wrong with maybe remodeling the old Mountain View School in Hilton's? And that, the old Mountain View School?
For an animal shelter?
Or, you know, or a building like such. I mean, what else, what you gonna do with it? Would it save us money to look at that in the long run, that you already have that structure and could do something with it, or?
It's in pretty rough shape. We'll have to send you a couple of pictures.
Well, I know it is. I mean, you know, I've worked on it, the middle school, NCE, Kelly Walsh.
We'd be over 1.25 million.
And just restore. Well, that, you know, that being said, which we should have done it as a family business, and we screwed up, is where Ferguson and Gases Plus and all of that stuff was, or is now, that got sold for like $1 million, and we dropped the ball as a family and didn't do it. The town of Mills was looking at doing it, and they dropped the ball because they couldn't do it because it was an existing building. $1 million, people. And then we build this thing over here, and then we build the fire station, and we build the police station, and that big building all there would have accommodated all that. And whether you use the government's money or not, you'd have still been saving $2 or $3 million. So sometimes there's different roads to take.
And I do know Evansville's building their own facility, and early on they approached us to join, but, you know, so there's always that option too. So.
Well, that isn't that necessarily a bad deal to get in with Evansville and Bar None and get a coalition against.
Bar None won't leave Casper against Casper.
Well, we learned that with the regional water, that you guys are, most of you too young and weren't born when that went on, but Mills owned the facility here, Bar None owned part of the facility, but Mills owned the water line out to Bar None, and Bar None's mad because we wouldn't go in the regional water. And so people said, well, we own 3/4 of the line, and they only own 1/4. Let's turn the valve 3/4 shut and see how Bar None likes their pressure. But you know, and when after it all got done, we found out we had more rights off the river. We hit more wells. Getting away from Casper was a good thing on the regional water, because they were going to come in here, and our employees that were down here, they were going to get rid of John and all them guys back in them days. You guys don't remember who John was, but they were going to clean house and get rid of our guys to bring their guys in to our facility and employ their staff, and our staff that was loyal to us just lost their jobs. And the other thing, I know I'm going to run out of time, but the other thing they did is they control our water rights. So if any industry wanted to come into Mills and they needed X amount of water to have that industry in Mills, and Casper was bidding on that job too, to have them in Casper, and it was a regional water, who do you think they were going to give water to? In Casper, not Mills. So they controlled our property value a little doing that stuff. Thanks.
Thank you.
Good stuff.
Any discussion on council?
Would you like to go?
Sure. So I just have a couple of things to talk to council about. So on August 10th, it's Art on the Go. They do Art in the Park at Mike Cedar. They are doing a festival here in Mills. I guess approached them to try to get something more going community-wise in Mills. It's called the Central Wyoming Artists Market or something like that. Mills doesn't have to really do anything. We are going to give them the park for free because they are bringing people to Mills and something else to do in Mills. We do have like, they've got porta potties donated, all that kind of stuff. We're going to offer them like our trash cans, and they're going to use our trailer, one of our trailer beds for a stage, because it's going to be pretty close to Summerfest. They have over 40 right now. It's in August, and they have over 40 vendors. They have live music. They're going to have food trucks. They are closing down, which talked to Mike or whatever, he said it would be fine, but Frieden's going to be closed at that one, just like at Summerfest, how we had right at Pendel, and then right at, what road was that? The next road over. Yes, Fossil View. They'll just be closed right there for food trucks to be along. But it's going to be huge, so to have that many people in Mills, I think is really cool, really good. No cost to us. They are wanting to asking to rent our barricades. That's something that we want to do. I don't know how much we would charge for that. We're not talking about like the metal barricades that we use around the bouncy houses.
And I would imagine this is on a weekend.
August 10th is a Saturday.
Yeah, so that's a little bit, so then we would have to have employees available on a weekend.
Maybe just,
I don't know. Just because the barricades can't stay, they have to be picked up and moved in with the trash cans.
right, which they say they will come and pick them up and bring them back on trash cans, because they have a big trailer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know that they're heavy, like, really? They have been told fire, police, all of that is not going to be available to them. If there's an issue, call 911.
Well, my recommendation would be to in fact staff, not us, they would have to pay to have, because what happens is if an issue happens and our people are already out, that's, or vice versa, that's gonna deplete from our available resources. So traditionally in those events, they will either, security, or they will contract with the ambulance to be there for first aid type stuff.
I can see how much it will cost.
And they have established rates because they actually can't work for free. So, and then, I would question a little bit about, how we're gonna ensure that the property is, picked up if there's no payment or no deposit. And left in the condition it was found. And I would probably also make sure that they have event insurance.
Yes, they do.
Okay.
And they're gonna give proof of that. It's very similar to what they do at Art in the Park at Lake Cedar. It's just going to be in Mills. If you ever been to the Lake Cedar one. But yeah, if you have any questions or things that you aren't happy with, let me know so I can bring it to them. But
What do they
I'll
need the
definitely-
metal barricades for?
What did they need them for? That's a good
I
question.
don't recall seeing them at Lake Cedar.
They wanted for something. I can find out what they needed it for. And then they can come in and talk to council too. If you like, if you have any questions.
I think that'd be good.
Okay. Any other questions you want me to take to them? Okay. Another thing is I was just at NPO before here, so just a little update on that. The phase 2 for the beautification project, which is the one that's is it the bypass to the airport? That meeting is taking place for public involvement tomorrow night out at the airport. If anybody wants to go to that, that's for the public, it involves Mills. So, Transit is changing their fare, so for subsidized? Thank you.
You're welcome.
People, they don't pay now, but they're going to start paying a very low fare, probably just like a quarter or something, but they are going to be starting to charge them. They're getting rid of their tokens July 31st. Some construction projects, the YDOT is saying that the Poplar and Midwest is all on schedule. I don't know what that schedule is. Apparently they're on schedule.
Their schedule.
They are moving early July, the traffic on the interstate to the other side. So that's exciting. What else? There's definitely some bridges, extra bridges going in. There's $1 million grant for the bridge across the North Platte off of Robertson Road. That construction will be starting soon. So if you know we're on Robertson Road and you know that little coffee shop, do you know what I'm talking about? So there's going to be a bridge that goes across North Platte there. They're going to start a trail from Hat 6 Road to Ednas in about 2 years. And fencing around Murad Park is going to be happening soon. So along Wyoming Boulevard.
That'd be nice.
To keep the dogs in.
And yeah, that would be nice.
That's what I have.
Just real quick, I wanted to acknowledge the passing of previous mayor Buck King of Edgerton. He had stepped down a couple of months ago due to health issues. He passed I believe on Monday. of last week. His military service is tomorrow at the Oregon Trail Veterans Cemetery in Evansville at 11. He was the mayor of Edgerton for quite some time, and my condolences to his family on his passing. Being mayor is always a very difficult job, and he did it for quite some time, and so I just want to remark upon his commitment to his community. Is there any other individuals who wish to speak in open discussion? We'll go ahead and move to resolution number 2024-15, a resolution adopting the 2024 Trona County, Wyoming Emergency Operations Plan.
I move that we approve resolution number 2024-15.
Is there any discussion? How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Resolution number 2024-16, resolution proclaiming recognition of a bold, remarkable American Day for 2024. Do I want to read this now, or pass it?
I think you could read it now.
So, we're going to read the proclamation for the dedication of the day, and we're going to continue to do this. This is in honor of a specific student who was awarded a scholarship in conjunction with the VAR HV scholarship program through the CNFR NYRA Foundation. And the City of Mills is going to continue this for the next 2 years, dedicating a day to a remarkable student rodeo athlete, I should specify. So a resolution proclaiming recognition of a bold, remarkable American Day for 2024. Whereas the City of Mills, Wyoming is honoring on this day a remarkable American college rodeo athlete whose contributions to the country and community is vital and significant. And whereas the Duke of the Chutes, Harry Vold, has been a staple in the rodeo industry since 1959 and has been a remarkable influence on America and the West since he settled in Colorado. As such, his patriotism lives on through the VAR HV Scholarship, the CNFR, and the National Intercollegiate Rodeo Foundation. And whereas the women of the Harry Vold family, Donna Vold Larson, Kirsten Vold, and Tammy Vold Larson, carry on the traditions and patriotism of Mr. Harry Vold, these women being of influence and remarkable community contributors themselves. Whereas it is the intent of the City of Mills to honor the Vold family by contributing funds to the VAR HV Scholarship Award and to recognize the award winner, an outstanding rodeo student, J.C. Byler. Now, therefore, the City of Mills, Wyoming proclaims to be this bold, remarkable American Day in the City of Mills, Wyoming for 2024. I would like to recognize that we do have a Miss Donna Vold Larson with us in attendance in the audience. But thank you very much. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve resolution number 2024-16.
Second.
I have a question. Is every year, or the next 2 years who we pick, is this a Wyoming person?
Nope, it's a national, national, but actually some of them come from Canada, right? We have a couple maybe that came from Canada as well. This specific student, however, is from Texas. So CNFR being college rodeo finals. So. And if there's no other comments, how does council vote?
Aye.
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 The motion passes. Thank you very much, Ms. Donald. Resolution number 2024-17, a resolution for Sullivan Plat number 2 in addition to the City of Mills being a vacation and replat of lots 1 through 3, block 19, Mountain View suburb, and tract 1, Sullivan Simple subdivision, any portion of the northeast quarter, southeast quarter, section 1, township 33 north, range 80 west, City of Mills, Trona, Wyoming.
I make a motion that we approve resolution number 2024-17.
Second.
Is there any discussion? How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Resolution number 2024-18, a resolution approving a special review permit to allow automobile sales on a portion of the southwest quarter, northeast quarter, section 7, township 33 north. Is it that wrong thing? Right. No long day, 79 west, also known as 302 Van Horn Avenue, City of Mills.
I move that we approve resolution number 2024-18.
Second.
Any discussion? Sounds like we're gonna move forward with the suggested plan that Ms. Mills had provided.
Yes.
As long as it meets these qualifications, I think we're good.
So approval with the revised site plan.
Correct.
How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Resolution number 2024-19, a resolution approving a special review temporary use permit to allow a temporary produce stand on a portion of lots 4, 5, and 6, block 45, Mountain View suburb, City of Mills.
I make a motion that we approve resolution number 2024-19.
Second.
So any discussion? Did YDOT have a comment, or did they,
Her comment back was just as long as they remain outside of the right of way.
okay, so it sounds like YDOT is fine with the proposal, which was one of the issues raised. And the signage, it sounds like, is gonna be addressed by being posted on the building itself. Yeah. So any discussion by council? How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Resolution number 2024-20, a resolution for approval of a site plan for a proposed commercial service and fueling station to be known as Big D Service Station, located on Lot 1, 257 Business Park, City of Mills, Wyoming.
I move that we approve resolution number 2024-20.
Council, I believe this one may have had a comment from staff regarding some recommendations that staff may have wanted to append to this resolution.
And my apologies, I should have requested you guys for any discussion, but yeah, we want to address the landscaping issue.
We need to have the landscaping to be organic.
Like 50, was that 60, right? Is that what we agreed upon?
Right, to not.
50% of the landscaping to be organic.
So we'll have them revise the site plan with the landscaping to show.
They could do some tall grasses, some bushes in there along that side, just anything to beautify it, put some grass in there. Put something, or something organic.
So do we still pass this?
Well, we can pass this resolution subject to the criteria that has been noted by planning this evening.
Okay. So, did we already made the motion?
I moved to amend my motion.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll amend the motion to approve this under the condition that half the landscaping be organic.
Second.
Okay, is there any more discussion on the additional amendment? Shouldn't say additional, the amendment. How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Which number did you say, the 20?
We need 20 now.
Oh man, we need 20 now, that's why I got it.
What's 20?
Yeah, that was fine. We are catching up. Resolution number 2024-21, a resolution fixing the tax levy for the City of Mills for fiscal year 25.
Make a motion that we approve resolution number 2024-21.
Second.
Is there any discussion? How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Resolution number 2024-22, a resolution of the City of Mills designating banking institutions to be used for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2024 and ending July 30th, 2025.
June 30th?
Oh,
Yes.
June, yeah, June 30th, 2025.
Make a motion we pass 2024-22.
Second.
Is there any discussion? How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Resolution number 2024-23, a resolution authorizing the submissions of an application for federal funding through the Safe Streets and Roads for All program administered by the United States Department of Transportation for City of Mills for the purposes of Safe Streets and Roads Action Plan for a newly constructed charter school in the City of Mills.
I move that we approve resolution number 2024-23.
Second.
Is there any discussion? How does council vote? Aye.
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 Motion passes. Ordinance number 813, third and final reading, Title 17, an ordinance repealing the existing Title 17 of the Mills Municipal Code dealing with zoning and subdivisions and replacing it in its entirety with a new Chapter 17 dealing with zoning and subdivisions, and further repealing Ordinance 763 and incorporating its provisions in the new Chapter 17.
Make a motion that we approve ordinance number 813 on the third and final reading, Title 17.
Is there any discussion? How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Ordinance number 814, an ordinance third and final reading to adopt fiscal year budget 25. An ordinance appropriating money for the annual budget of the City of Mills, Wyoming for the conduct of the municipal government of the City of Mills, Wyoming for the fiscal year 2025.
I move that we approve ordinance number 814, an ordinance for third and final reading to adopt fiscal year 25 budget.
Second.
Any discussion? How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Ordinance number 815, third and final reading, T. Lee edition, an ordinance approving the annexation and plat of T. Lee in addition to the City of Mills being land located in portions of the southwest quarter, northeast quarter, southeast quarter, northeast quarter, section 7, township 33 north, range 79 west, 6th principal meridian, Natrona County, Wyoming.
I make a motion we approve ordinance number 815 on the third and final reading, T. Lee edition.
Second.
Is there any discussion? How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Motion passes.
I would move that we approve all of the Bayou Liquor catering permits.
I was gonna say, can we lump those?
Under council approval?
We can, council, and just before you do move on, not to do things out of order, I just noticed there was an earlier discussion about submitting a resolution to the county commissioners regarding Metro, so I wondered if before council approvals, you wanted to address that.
And that would be resolution number 2024-24, am I correct? Can someone read off the name of that resolution?
Seeking to add a 6 cent to the ballot for construction of the new Metro Animal Control Facility.
And just to clarify, that will be resolution number 2024-24. Do I have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve adding the construction of Metro to our ballot for the 6 cent. Is that correct?
Of
2024.
2024.
Second.
And again,
Can
my
we-
night for interruption, I guess, but Councilman Newmiller earlier had a proposal, I think, to amend this, and so I'm not sure if we're voting on it as drafted or as amended.
I would say that we amend it so that it we're able to utilize it in Mills more instead of just for a Metro and animal care facility. If we choose to put it at Casper and use Metro, that's fine, or we could build one here ourselves, but open that up.
I would agree. So with that said, then we'll, do we have a motion to approve the Metro 6 cent adding to the Mills residents ballot number 2024-24 with the amendment to add language for if Casper does not pass it, that the Mills will retain that money for its own animal control. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion, we approve 2024-24.
With the amendment?
With the amendments.
With the amendment.
Thank you. Second, is there any discussion? How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Do I have a motion for to approve the Bayou Lakers catering permits?
Now move that we approve all of the account.
Good job, good luck, have fun. Make lots of money.
Just tournament early next time.
Is there any discussion? How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Motion passes.
Move we adjourn.
So your discussion?